Hi everybody, this is Mr. Curtis, and today what we're going to do is talk about note-taking, and specifically something called Cornell note-taking. I believe that this originally came from Cornell University in New York, upstate New York, very famous college up there. Well, anyway, when you take notes in our class, and you're given a sheet like this, you'll be watching a video similar to this, and as you go through it, there are certain things that you're going to be filling out. So let's begin. As you start, the first thing you'll notice is this thing up here called the overview. What you should be doing is you should do a couple things. First of all, write down the due date. Now, for some reason, I'm getting a very poor writing today. So whatever date that I tell you that it's due, write that down. It may be due next Thursday or something like that, and put down everything that you need so that you remember. When I tell you what the video is about, you want to put the topic. What's this going to be about? Well, this turns out to be about ice cream. Yes, we all love ice cream. At least most of us do. And again, I'm sorry I can't write very well today. All right, so as you are watching the video, you will have a sheet and there'll be blanks, and basically you're just going along filling out the blanks. So this is all about the history of ice cream. And as you do a little history searching about ice cream, you would find that the Persians, this would be like in Iran, the Persians poured grape juice over snow to make a dessert. That doesn't sound too bad. And the Arabs were the first to use milk as a major ingredient. And the first recipe shows up about the 1600s. So you'd be writing this down. Hand cranking cream with NaCl, salt, and ice around to cool it. That's what they do today. And modern freezing elements used to cool the milk and sugar. The Italians make something called gelato. We would say gelato. Less milk fat than ice cream, and custards contain egg to make it lighter in texture. So those of you going to Culver's would know all about that. Moving on, you would see that a sorbet is en français French. We would say sorbet, but it's really sorbet, is a fruit puree with no dairy products included. And we all know about a brain freeze. So that would be eating ice cream too quickly. Other downsides, we know that ice cream is part of a high fat diet, which is not good. And too much ice cream can lead to weight gain. And finally, also ice cream is high in cholesterol. Man, that is just some horrible writing today. Sorry about that. Which we know leads to heart problems. You will notice that there's a section over here called the briefs. And there's this big area that I've left blank. Well, that's so that you can put things in there. as you are watching the video, you might have some questions. Something that doesn't make sense. If this really happened, if the Arabs were the first to use it as use milk, well, wait a minute, that was out in the desert. How the heck did they do that? You may have a question. So this is a place for you to write the question down. Or if I'm going through, sometimes I don't make things particularly exactly clear in the video. So draw an arrow and say, I don't understand what that means. Put a question mark. That way when we get back together, you can say, hey, Mr. Curtis, part 3 here, I don't quite understand that, and the video wasn't really too clear about it. That's another thing. You can also use this section to note something that is particularly important. Put a star next to it and say, oh, brain freeze. Yep, that's something that I know I'm going to need to remember on a test or something to that effect. Now, lastly, what you should be doing is writing a summary. This is exactly what it says, a summary. 2 sentences that wrap up what the entire video was about. Be thinking back to what you watched and write a summary. You could say something like, the video idea was a history of ice cream. It also discussed things such as poor diet and brain freezes. Then, the day that this is due, so if I said this was due on Thursday, make sure that you bring this sheet filled out, and I will be coming around to make sure that your homework is completed. So this wraps up what a Cornell note-taking system is going to look like in our class. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And we'll see you next time.